So there I was, third appendage deep in a container of fermented slime beetles when the airlock hissed open and everyone stopped talking.
I know. What kind of introduction is that, right? But trust me, this detail matters. Because in approximately 47 standard minutes, my entire understanding of the galaxy was going to get turned inside out, shaken violently and tossed into a plasma incinerator.
My name is Vekran. I worked as a cargo supervisor on Station Terminus 7. 17 different species call this rust bucket home, and another 100 pass through weekly. I have seen things that would make your sensory organs weep. I have smelled things that violate 3 separate Geneva-adjacent conventions. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for the day a human walked onto my station. The thing was tiny. Now, before you get all defensive, understand that tiny is a relative term. But when you spend your days around Krallians who stand 9 feet tall, and Krelliks whose serpentine bodies stretch 20 feet when fully extended, a creature that barely reaches 5.5 feet seems, well, adorable, like something you would keep as a pet, maybe teach it tricks. The human wore what I later learned was called a jumpsuit, all practical and boring, colored in that universal shade of beige that screamed, "I am not important. Please ignore me." It had pale skin, patchy fur, only on top of its head, and these weird forward-facing eyes that gave it a predatory look, except, on a frame that suggested its primary survival strategy was looking pathetic until something took pity on it. My coworker, a hulking Vorash named Grint, started laughing first. His laugh sounds like rocks tumbling down a mountain, very distinctive, impossible to ignore. Within seconds, half the cargo bay joined in. The human stopped walking. Its face did this thing. This weird color change where the skin went from pale to slightly pink. I did not know what that meant then. Spoiler alert, it was not a good sign. "Hey there, little guy," Grint called out, his voice booming across the deck. "You lost? The petting zoo is on level 12. More laughter. Even I chuckled, though I had the decency to cover my feeding orifice with one hand. The human just stood there, those strange eyes moving from face to face, calculating something. "I am Marcus Cole," the human said, and its voice was surprisingly steady. "I am here to pick up a shipment for the Terran Mining Consortium." "Oh, it talks," squeaked Priscilla Zantari, whose species barely reached 3 feet themselves. Still, even Priscilla felt confident mocking this newcomer. That is how small the human looked. How non-threatening. How utterly out of place. Marcus Cole pulled out a datapad, holding it up with fingers that had only 5 digits each. Pathetic, really. Most advanced species had at least 7. The shipment manifest is here. Container 7743 Alpha. If someone could direct me. Sure, Grint said, pushing off from the crate he had been leaning against. His massive frame, easily 3 times the human's mass, lumbered forward. But first, new arrival tax. You know how it is. Station rules. This was not station rules. This was Grint being Grint, which meant being a bully. I should have said something. By all the void gods, I should have spoken up. But I did not, because in that moment, watching this tiny human standing in a cargo bay full of species that could tear it apart without trying, I felt nothing but smug superiority. The galaxy, you see, operates on a simple principle. Big equals strong. Strong equals respected. Respected equals left alone. This human was small, therefore weak, therefore asking for trouble, simply by existing in spaces where real species conducted business. "I do not have any credits for taxes," Marcus said quietly. "I am just here for the shipment." "No credits." Grint looked back at the crowd, grinning with too many teeth. "Then I guess we got ourselves a problem, do not we?" The human did not back down, did not run, did not even flinch. It just stood there, and that weird color change spread from its face down its neck. I would later learn this was called blushing, or in this case suppressed rage. Humans have terrible poker faces. "Look," the human said, and I noticed its hands were doing this thing, curling and uncurling into fists. "I have had a long trip, 14 jumps through systems where I could not even breathe the air without a rebreather. I am tired. I am hungry, and I really just want to get my shipment and leave. So can we skip the whole intimidation dance and just, not do this?" "Intimidation dance?" Grint repeated, his crest flaring, which among Vorish means genuine offense has been taken. "You think this is intimidation, little creature?" The crowd, which had been merely amused, now turned cruel. Someone threw a piece of rotted cargo netting at the human. It hit Marcus in the chest, leaving a stain. The human looked down at it, then back up, and those eyes went cold. That is when I saw it. Just a flicker, just a moment, but something in the human's expression made my survival instincts scream. It lasted maybe 2 seconds before the expression smoothed over, replaced by careful neutrality. But I saw it. And I ignored it. Because I am an idiot. Fine, Marcus said, voice even flatter than before. You want to do this? Let us do this. Grant cracked his neck vertebrae, all 7 of them, creating a sound like a percussion instrument having a nervous breakdown. Around us, cargo work stopped completely. This was about to become entertainment, and nobody wanted to miss it. The human, this Marcus Cole, set down its datapad with exaggerated care, protecting property even when facing a beatdown. Points for priorities, I suppose. Here is how this is going to go, Grint announced, playing to the crowd now. You are going to crawl. Yes, crawl on those silly little appendages, all the way to the airlock. Then you are going to apologize to every single being in this bay for wasting our time with your presence. Then, maybe, if I feel generous, I will think about letting you have your shipment. The human tilted its head, a gesture I now recognize as deeply dangerous. So your plan is assault and theft, broadcasted in front of 37 witnesses and at least 12 functioning security cameras. Bold strategy. Cameras? Grant laughed. You think station security cares about one little human? Please. They have got real problems to deal with. He was not wrong. Station security barely managed to stop smuggling operations, let alone intervene in cargo bay disputes. The strong did what they wanted. The weak suffered what they must. Tale as old as civilization itself. Marcus looked around the bay, making eye contact with several species. I watched its gaze linger on me for a moment, and I felt something uncomfortable twist in my digestive tract. Guilt? Shame? Gas from the fermented beetles? Hard to say. Nobody is going to help you, Priscilla called out helpfully. You are alone here, human. The human nodded slowly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Then it did something unexpected. It smiled. Not a friendly smile, not even close. This smile showed teeth, and something about the way it displayed those dull little omnivore chompers made my skin prickle. You know what, Marcus said conversationally, reaching up to stretch its neck. The thing about humans is that we are persistence predators. Back on Earth, that is our homeworld, we did not run fast, we did not have claws or venom or armored hides, but we could keep going. Hour after hour, day after day, we would chase prey until it literally died from exhaustion. Why are you telling us this? Grint demanded, clearly annoyed that his victim was making speeches instead of cowering. Because, the human continued, still smiling that horrible smile, you need to understand what happens when a persistence predator stops running and decides to stand its ground. Then 3 things happened very quickly. Grint lunged forward, telegraphing his move so obviously that even I could have dodged it. The human did not dodge. It stepped inside Grint's reach, moving faster than something that size had any right to move, and drove its elbow into what passes for a Vorash throat. Grint made a choking sound and stumbled back. The crowd gasped. Nobody expected the human to fight back, let alone land a hit. But here is the thing about being small and picking fights with creatures 3 times your size. Even if you land a good hit, the size difference matters. Grint recovered quickly, his shock transforming into genuine rage. His arm, thick as a cargo beam, swung around and caught Marcus in the ribs with a sound like cracking timber. The human flew backward, hit a container wall and slumped down. Blood, bright red and alarming, trickled from its mouth. The crowd cheered. I am not proud of that fact, but they did. I did not cheer, but I did not stop it either, which might be worse. Grint stalked forward, breathing hard. You little pest. You actually hurt me. Now I am going to break every bone in your stubborn body. Marcus struggled to its feet, one arm wrapped around its torso, clearly injured, but it was still standing, still looking at Grint with those predator eyes, still not backing down. 2 other cargo handlers, encouraged by Grint's dominance, moved to flank the human, a Qualix named Sorth, and a Crawlerian called Big Jax. Original name, I know. Big Jack's parents were not creative. Come on, Marcus wheezed, blood on its teeth now. Let us get this over with. What happened next was brutal. The human fought like something possessed, targeting joints and soft tissue with precision that spoke of training. But precision only gets you so far when you are outnumbered 3-to-1 by species with significant mass advantages. Marcus got in several good hits. I watched it break 2 of Sorth's manipulator appendages with targeted strikes. I saw it use momentum and leverage to actually throw Big Jax into a cargo container. But for every hit the human landed, it took 5 in return. And nobody helped. 37 witnesses and we all just watched. After what felt like hours but was probably 4 minutes, Marcus was on the ground. The human was still conscious, still trying to get up. But its body was not cooperating anymore. Blood pooled beneath it. And I realized with growing horror that this had gone way too far. "Stay down," Grant growled, breathing hard himself. The human had made him work for this victory. "Just stay down and admit you are nothing." Marcus turned its head, looking directly at me with one eye already swelling shut. The other eye, though, that eye was clear, aware, and filled with something that made my blood run cold. Not disappointment, not even anger, just calculation, like it was filing away every face, every species, every being who stood by and did nothing. The human's mouth moved, forming words through broken lips. "You are all going to regret this." Grint raised his foot, clearly intending to bring it down on the human's head. This was it. This was going to be a murder, broadcasted on station security footage, and nobody was moving to stop it. Then the alarms started blaring. Not the normal alarms, not the ones that signal cargo bay accidents or atmospheric warnings or any of the dozen daily emergencies that happen on a station this size. These were the deep ones. The ones buried in the station's hull, the ones specifically designed to make your species-specific survival instincts scream, run, hide, pray to whatever gods you believe in because something terrible has arrived. The emergency lighting kicked in, bathing everything in red, and over the station-wide communication system, a voice I did not recognize, tight with fear, said words that made everyone in the cargo bay freeze. "All personnel, this is Station Command. We have an unauthorized docking in progress. Repeat, unauthorized docking. The vessel has been identified as Kratak's military configuration. Everyone remain calm and do not under any circumstances provoke them." The cargo bay went silent except for the alarms and Marcus's labored breathing, because everyone from the smallest Centauri to the biggest Crowleyan knew what Kratax meant. It meant death had come calling. Nobody moved. I think several species, including myself, temporarily forgot how to breathe. The Kratax do not visit stations. The Kratax do not dock peacefully. The Kratax do not do anything that involves non-Kratax continuing to live afterward. They are the apex predators of the galaxy. The boogeyman that parents of 60 different species use to scare their offspring into good behavior. Eat your nutrition paste, or the Kratax will get you. Stop fighting with your sibling, or the Kratax will hear the noise. Go to sleep, 'cause the Kratax hunt those who wander in darkness. They stand between 8 and 10 feet tall, covered in segmented armor plating that is actually their skin, grown over centuries of evolution on a death world that makes most hell planets look like vacation resorts. They have 6 limbs, 4 for locomotion and 2 that end in appendages that blur the line between hands and weapons. Their heads, those awful heads, are all angles and edges with eyes that glow in 3 different spectrums. And they have never, not once in recorded galactic history, had a peaceful interaction with another species. They take what they want, destroy what they do not, and leave nothing but wreckage and trauma in their wake. The only reason they are not the dominant force in the galaxy is because they do not want to be. They have their territory, their worlds, and they stay there. Unless you do something incredibly stupid to draw their attention. The station shuddered as the Kratax warship completed its docking procedure. On a normal day, a ship that size would take 40 minutes to properly dock with all the safety checks and alignment protocols. The Kratax did it in 3 minutes, and the sounds of rending metal suggested they simply tore through several non-essential decks to make it faster. Grint, who had been standing over Marcus with his foot raised, slowly lowered it. His crest, which had been flared in aggression, flattened completely against his skull. Every species has their fear response. For Varash, it is crest flattening. "We need to hide," Precell whispered, already backing toward a storage container. "Where?" Big Jax asked, voice higher than normal. "Where do you hide from them?" "Good question." No answer. The cargo bay doors, massive things designed to allow freight haulers through, suddenly screamed in protest. Something was forcing them open from the other side. Something strong enough that reinforced starship-grade metals bent like cheap plastic. Then the doors just stopped. Not opened, not properly, but peeled back, torn away and cast aside with casual strength that should not be possible. 3 Kratax stepped through the opening. I have seen holovids. Everyone has seen holovids, but seeing them in person is different. The videos do not capture the smell like ozone and something organic that your hindbrain interprets as death. They do not capture the way they move, too smooth for something that size. All controlled power and lethal grace. And they definitely do not capture the sound. This low-frequency thrumming that comes from somewhere inside their bodies felt more than heard. The lead Crothax, distinguished by additional plating scarring on its armor, swept its gaze across the cargo bay. Its eyes, burning in spectrums I cannot properly describe, lingered on each of us in turn. I felt that gaze like a physical weight, pinning me in place, evaluating whether I was worth killing immediately or could wait 5 minutes. When its eyes passed over Marcus, still crumpled on the floor, bleeding, they stopped. The Crothax's head tilted. All 3 of them went very, very still. Oh no. I thought. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. They want the human. They came for the human. We are all dead because we beat up someone the Crothax wanted to kill themselves, and now we have ruined their fun. The lead Crothax moved forward. Not rushed, not aggressive. Just inevitable. Like watching a moon fall from orbit. You know it is coming. You know you cannot stop it. You just wait for the impact. Everyone scrambled out of its path. Grint actually whimpered, which I did not know Voresh could do. The Crothax did not even acknowledge us. Its attention was fixed entirely on Marcus. It reached the human and crouched down, bringing its face level with Marcus's broken form. One of its weapon hands extended, and I watched in frozen horror as those blade-like appendages moved toward the human's throat. This is it, I thought. This is where the human dies, and then the rest of us die, and Station Terminus 7 becomes a cautionary tale about what happens when the Crothax get involved. The blade appendage touched Marcus's shoulder, gently, carefully, almost tenderly. Then the Crothax spoke, its voice a resonating bass that I felt in my chest cavity. Little brother, who did this to you? I am sorry. I need to repeat that, because I must have heard wrong. Little brother. The apex predator of the galaxy. The species that has destroyed fleets and shattered civilizations, just called the tiny human little brother. Marcus looked up at the Crothax through his one good eye. The human's expression did this complicated thing, shifting from pain to relief to something that might have been embarrassment. Hey Kelvor. Long time. Too long. The Crothax. Kelvor replied. Your clan link beacon activated. Showed injuries. Showed distress. We came fast. I appreciate that, Marcus said, trying and failing to sit up. But maybe you could have called first. You are probably giving everyone here a collective heart attack. Kelvor's head swiveled, taking in the cargo bay full of terrified beings. His eyes lingered on Grint, on Sorth, on Big Jax, on every being who had participated in or watched the beating. Good, Kelvor said simply. They should fear. They hurt clan. Wait, my brain tried to process. Clan? The Crothax do not have clans. They barely tolerate each other. They certainly do not adopt other species, but apparently they did. They had. And we just beat up a member of the galaxy's most feared species' extended family. I need to sit down, Persil said faintly, then collapsed. Kelvor made a gesture with his upper appendages, and the other 2 Crothax moved into the cargo bay, taking up positions that I realized with growing terror blocked all the exits. Professional, efficient, and absolutely terrifying. I am fine, Marcus was saying, which was obviously a lie given the amount of blood and broken everything. Just a misunderstanding. You know how it goes. No, Kelvor said flatly. I do not know. Explain how you become this injured in cargo bay with 37 witnesses who did nothing. The way Kelvor said 37 made it clear he knew the exact number of beings present, which meant he had counted us, which meant he could track us, which meant running was pointless. A Zentari near me actually fainted. Marcus struggled again to sit up, and this time Kelvor helped, cradling the human with shocking gentleness. Look, it was stupid pride stuff. You know how organics get. I said something dumb. They responded. It escalated. Nobody needs to die over this. You are bleeding from internal organs, Kelvor observed, running some kind of scanning device over Marcus's torso. 3 ribs fractured. Left lung partially collapsed. Extensive soft tissue damage. This is not escalation. This is attempted murder. Well, Marcus winced as Kelvor's scan hit a particularly damaged area. When you put it like that, it sounds worse than it was. Who? Kelvor said, turning to face the cargo bay. Did this. Silence. Beautiful, terrible silence. I should explain something. The Crothax have this concept they call blood debt. If you save a Crothax life, they owe you everything. They will protect you, fight for you, die for you. The debt passes down through generations until it is repaid. It is the only thing the Crothax honor above their own survival. Apparently at some point humans had saved the Crothax from something, and the debt had been so significant that they had adopted the entire species as clan. Nobody told us this. Nobody thought to mention, hey, by the way, if you see a human, do not touch them because they are protected by the galaxy's apex predators. That information would have been useful approximately 47 minutes ago. Kelvor, Marcus said tiredly. Let it go, please. No, Kelvor replied. Blood debt demands answer. Clan demands answer. Who hurt you? His gaze swept the bay again, and I watched various beings try to make themselves smaller. Grint, who had been the primary aggressor, was doing his best to hide behind a cargo container despite being 9 feet tall and built like a siege tank. Fine, Kelvor said when nobody spoke. Then all are guilty. All will answer. Wait, I heard myself say, which was possibly the stupidest moment of my life. My voice cracked on the word, but it was out there, existing in the universe. Impossible to take back. Kelvor's head rotated toward me with mechanical precision. You speak. You have information. Every eye in the cargo bay turned to me. Some grateful, some terrified, most just shocked that I was volunteering for what looked like an execution. It was Grint, I said, my voice stronger now. Grint, Sorth and Big Jax. They attacked Marcus. The rest of us watched. We did not help, but we did not attack. A coward's distinction, Kelvor said, but an honest one. I am not a coward, I protested weakly. You watched clans suffer and did nothing, Kelvor replied. You prioritized safety over honor. This is coward behavior. Own it. He was not wrong. I had been a coward. We all had been. Kelvor turned his attention to the 3 beings I had named. Grint tried to run. Stupid. Pointless. Doomed to fail. Run. One of the other Krothax moved, and suddenly Grint was on the floor, pinned by a single weapon hand that had somehow crossed 20 feet in under a second. Sorth and Big Jax, showing slightly more intelligence, stayed put. You, Kelvor addressed them, will face clan justice. You will suffer as little brother suffered. Balanced. Fair. Final. No, Marcus said sharply. No revenge attacks. No blood debt repayment. I am invoking mercy right. Kelvor went still. Mercy right is for clan to give, not receive. I am clan, Marcus pointed out, so I can invoke it. That is how it works, right? A long tense moment passed. Then Kelvor made a sound like grinding rocks, which I think was Krothax's laughter. You remember laws better than some born clan. Fine. Mercy right invoked. They lit. The relief in the cargo bay was palpable. Grint actually started crying, these big wet tears running down his crest. But Kelvor continued, and the relief evaporated. Mercy has cost. Grint, Sorth, Big Jax, you are marked. All Krothax will know your faces. All Krothax will know your crime. You will never be safe in systems we patrol. You will never be welcome on worlds we protect. You will carry this shame until your deaths. He pulled out a device and scanned each of them. Somewhere in Krothax databases, their genetic signatures were being logged, tagged, forever marked, as beings who hurt clan. As for the rest of you, Kelvor turned to address everyone else. You watched. You allowed. This also carries weight, but little brother shows mercy, so you receive warning instead of judgment. Touch clan again. Any clan, anywhere, and there will be no mercy right? No discussion. Only death. Message received. I squeaked. Good, Kelvor said. Then he reached down, scooped Marcus up with absurd gentleness and stood. We take little brother to medical bay. Proper medical bay. Not station facility. Ours. The station does not have a Krothax medical bay, I pointed out helpfully. We brought one, Kelvor said. Attached to cargo deck 7. Your administration will complain. Ignore them. We leave when little brother heals. As Kelvor carried Marcus toward the exit, the human looked back at us. That calculating expression was back, evaluating, measuring. For what it is worth, Marcus called out. I forgive you, but I will not forget. Simple words, honest words, terrifying words. Then, they were gone, and the cargo bay erupted into chaos. People shouting, crying, questioning reality. Priscilla was rocking back and forth, muttering about apex predators and tiny humans. Big Jax sat down heavily and put his head in his hands. Grant, still pinned by the Krothax guard, whispered, "What just happened?" I looked at him, at all of them, at the bent cargo bay doors and the blood on the floor and the security cameras that had recorded everything. We learned a lesson, I said quietly. The hard way. The expensive way. The way that is going to haunt us for the rest of our lives. What lesson? Priscilla asked. Never, ever assume you know what a species is capable of based on size alone. And definitely never mess with humans, because apparently they have friends. Big friends. Scary friends. The kind of friends who treat terms like unauthorized docking as mild suggestions. I walked over to Marcus's datapad, still sitting where he had carefully placed it before the fight. The shipment manifest was still on screen. Container 7743 Alpha. Mining equipment. Completely mundane. I arranged for that container to be delivered to the Kratax medical bay no charge, with a formal apology note. It was the least I could do. Around me Station Terminus 7 slowly returned to normal operations, but it was a different kind of normal now, one where everyone moved a little more carefully, spoke a little more politely, and checked species classifications very thoroughly before starting any confrontations, because we had learned. Oh, how we had learned. The tiny human was not the prey. We were, and we had gotten lucky that today mercy had won over justice. Tomorrow might be different, and that thought more than anything else kept me awake for many nights to come.